Hello there, Bick Benedict here. We're playing God of War 1, and this is my challenge of the Gods Guide and Walkthrough. That was a nice opening right there. Took out a ton of enemies. This is challenge 8 of 10, and it is the endurance fight of the bunch. It's the longest fight of the said bunch, and depending on what you consider to be hard, it possibly could be the hardest of the bunch for you. So, like I say, this is an endurance fight, and even though you have a full mana bar, a full magic bar, there is no using of magic. You can't use magic on this endurance fight. You will eventually, as you accrue enough rage, you will be able to use it late into the fight, but it's really not going to help you too much, honestly. And I don't even know why they prohibit you from using magic here, because even magic wouldn't do much here. You have the ability to do much more severe and progressive actions than any magic could. But I've got to think about it, and I have to say that this endurance fight is boring just because it has no variety, unless you include, unless you define variety as having two or more different things, because this fight does have two things. It has these gorgon assassins, and then it has these legionnaires that cannot be grabbed, even though I try to grab that one for some reason. They can't be grabbed unless you've weakened them, and they've got the O button prompt over them. So I've done this twice today now. The first time I did it, it was over 20 minutes, and I did not use the Lance of the Furies attack. And I redid the fight because I was almost at the point of death too. So I redid it mostly because I didn't show you the best way to do this trial, which is to use the Lance of the Furies at every opportunity you can. And the Lance of the Furies attack, I'm talking about the aerial one now, and I'm going to get to that in a moment, but so with no variety, this challenge, it can seem kind of boring. So I realize that. I mean, it's kind of the enemies, they're just, you have to be on the move constantly too with the gorgons. So what you're going to be dealing with on this endurance fight is a seemingly unending mob of the legionnaires and of the gorgons. You'll most likely defeat all of the legionnaires before the gorgons, so that you'll have the gorgons left at the end. But I will give it to this fight. It does have this going for it. When the gorgons freeze these legionnaires, since they're a small enemy, it only takes one hit to shatter them and instantly kill them, essentially giving you a free kill. It doesn't work that way for the gorgons, though, because the gorgons can't freeze each other. They're immune to the magic. That's the game's conceit, if you're familiar with it. So it is actually fun to, I enjoy it, smashing the petrified enemies, because you're going to learn really quickly that you always want to be luring, and you don't even have to have much forethought to it, because this whole area is so densely packed with these guys. When you're rolling around and everything, make sure you always double back, because these legionnaires turn to rocks so quickly that it gives you a great opportunity to always double back, go back the way you did, and quickly use the blades to kill the rock enemy. Now, you also get to use the Blade of Artemis if you like, but you don't need its strength, and its inability to be used as a long-range weapon pretty much nullifies it, and you're not going to need to. And using it would not be the right idea. You need the length of the blades. You need their reach, so that you don't always have to be putting yourself in danger into the middle of these mobs. And just remember, if you're having troubles surviving on this, this is on normal difficulty, so unless you're being really reckless and negligent about watching your own health, you should not have a problem. Now, the so let's talk about, like, what did these enemies drop? The Gorgons, on completing their QuickTime event, they will drop some magic, but magic is useless for us because we can't use magic. So it kind of feels like a little slap in the face. But if you kill the legionnaires in a regular manner, such as just hitting them to death or completing their QuickTime event by executing them or throwing them at others, you will occasionally. That was close, and I'm going to talk about that. You see how I got turned to rock? That happens pretty much every time if you time it the way I did. But occasionally you will get a little health back. So, like I said before, when I did this earlier tonight, when I finished it, I was at the point of death. So I wasn't doing too good, as far as I was being pretty negligent, playing pretty sloppily. But anyway, you'll get a little bit of health back, but it shouldn't matter to you too much if you're being on your mark over here. Okay, so let's talk about what just happened after I sip water. So when you're doing the Lance of the Furies, you have to realize that move is not without its risks, because you can and probably will get petrified on landing. So what you need to do is assume that you're going to get turned to rock, even if you don't end up getting turned to rock, and start rocking the analog stick back as fast as you possibly can. I actually use the palm of my right hand to do it, and it does a pretty good job. I find I do it faster with the palm if I palm it. So assume you're going to get turned to rock. Now you might wonder, well, I don't want to do a strategy where I turn to rock. That's that's not good for me, because I can just get hit one time and then I will die. Well, I'm telling you, if you rock the analog stick back quickly and break free, I've never said anything with more certainty. You're not going to get killed. They give you plenty of time to recover. So count on that. You can recover in time and get out of the way. So what you need to do is stay by the edge over here of the platform. Any edge will do. And you want to put the rail. Holy shit. Do you see that? Really lucky. And I'll tell you which combos are good for knocking enemies out too. You want to put the rail to one side of you and the enemies to another. And then I do the Achilles flip into the aerial. Forgetting the name of it now. I always forget the name of this move. It's just strange. It's just this move in particular. I forgot what it's called. L1 plus circle hold. And then you should get good results. And what's going to happen is you're going to be knocking, hopefully 2 to 3, maybe even more enemies out of the ring. So you're going to be doing some good ring outs for yourself. And I've actually, so what other risks are involved? Well, I've actually misjudged what I was standing on once, and I did the Lance of the Furies. I wasn't even on the platform. I was off of the platform, and I did it, and I fell into the abyss. Do you know what happened right there? That was a pause. My software did a little video problem, so I had to pause the game. So that's what happened there. See that? We knocked out the Gorgons. The Gorgons are only the only thing left at this point. So we've taken out all of the spawns of the legionnaires, and now we just have the Gorgons to deal with. So is it more difficult or less? Well, I think just given the fact that we have lesser enemies on the screen, it's going to be a little bit easier. But the problem with this trial that I don't like about it is you can commit 15 minutes to a whole fight and then make one screw up and have to do the whole fight over again. And I realize those are the stakes of an endurance fight, but This one feels a little cheap. I never like challenges where I'm always on the move, always have to be rolling, because you don't ever want to just be walking at the normal speed. You'll get turned to stone. You have to be rolling. So what I do is I try to leave some of them off the screen, and I try to lure others to one side. And then I only start at the Lance of the Furies when they're not doing their Gorgon Beam. I don't want any trouble, and you shouldn't want any trouble either. Now, why am I doing the QTE? Just for a breather. It's safe, you know, and we've almost got enough to use the Rage, but I won't be using the Rage. Just remember you can use it. Other than that, combos. A good combo to do that you've been seeing me do is square hold. That's the Might of Hercules move. It's a really good move. Has a lot of wind up to it, but it's a damaging move, and it's very nice to hit people off. You can do the Valor of Hercules, which is triangle, triangle, square, which is 2 heavies and then 1 light, which flicks the enemy off. You could also do, you can parry with the square, so you can parry and then riposte. I meant riposte. Riposte with the square and see what happens. Hopefully some good things happen to you. And then I think those are the main combos that I use. Yeah. No magic though, and I don't think that the terrifying moments, they really are. And then I did an accidental ground-based, whatever that. I can never remember what that move is. Every time I try to think about it, I forget what it is. So remember earlier in the video when I said that magic probably wouldn't even help you? If you're competent enough to do a fight like this, level 1 magic of any kind is not going to help you. It's just not. So some people get confused sometimes when I say one thing and when I contradict myself inadvertently about the use of magic in God of War and in other games where I'm okay at this game. You know, I can hold my own, but you never want to, if you're trying to get better and you want to do specific things that require skill, you never want to use magic to abrogate any circumstance that would purely result in inhibiting your skill. You know, you're trying to achieve a certain degree of skill, so you have to do the work for yourself and not have the magic do the work. It's just the more you use the magic in a game like this, the more you're going to look on other people's videos and say to yourself, man, I wish I was that good. But believe me, the magic is fine to use. You know, it's a fun thing. It's part of the game. It is the game. And if you're using magic, you're playing the game. And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's just for the people who do want to try to get better. And I know that, you know, getting better at a video game, who cares? What is it going to get me? I understand that argument, because sometimes it does feel like, what skill, you know, what are you going to get from a skill like being good at God of War? How is that going to help you in the workplace or anything, looking for employment or anything like that? It's mainly to foster dexterity and aptitude with a certain trade, and I think that there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, there really isn't. So, and again, there's nothing wrong with using magic, but just be cautious about it, and never use magic to bridge the gap between you and your desired level of being skillful at something. But that, see, I contradict myself a lot of times, and people, they wonder, they see me using magic sometimes and they're confused because I say don't use magic. But It's not all a bad thing. And I hope you realize that. So we are almost done with this. We've got a 2 count of these gorgons, and at length it's going to be a 1 count, and that is going to be the trial, the longest trial by very large measure. Ooh, yeah, watch out for that. 2 more trials remain. The next one is a very simple one, and the one after that, the final one, is very difficult but short. I will see you in the next video. Please take care, and I hope this video helped you defeat the 8th trial. Take care.